Where are they hiding? Right, these two. Ooh, smart lights, plus 2 inch, plus 5 repair, plus 5 science for 12 hours. Ooh.
How can I illuminate you?
I will not return for that buff, that sounds annoying, but cool. Can you turn those lights on for me?
I certainly can.
Bzzz, I'm smarter now, that's how light works. Plus 2 charisma, barter, speech for 12 hours. Can you stack both?
You've been seeing the other light switch, haven't you? Am I not enough for you anymore?
Can you turn those lights on for me?
You bet I can. I bet that's more than that other tramp can do, huh?
Wow, gender. What are you, women's? In a video game? Who would ever write women's this way in a video game? Not I. Haha.
Is the
But
light
there we
level
go.
to your liking?
I don't know, is it? Which buff do I get to keep? Status effects. Mood lighting.
How can I illuminate you? Unlike certain other light switches, I'm competent. I just love to turn those lights on for you.
Okay, I hate both of you. I hate both of you for acting this way, but I will take this intelligence bonus, which takes my special to 9 intelligence, 9 endurance, 10 strength. There's always been the ironic part of this whole supposed himbo build. I made him lack, like, luck and perception, so he's like a big, clumsy, awkward, like, oblivious person. But he has always had high intelligence, ironically. So he's a himbo in spirit. But he's very smart, actually. That's the plot twist.
Might I be of service, sir? Very good, sir.
I think that's the gist of things. We successfully fixed all the people. Find samples for the biological research state. Ah! We're not done! Where'd this objective come from? Where did you come from? What do you think you're doing? How you don't know what I'm... Okay, I'll do it. Ooh. My game freaking out a little bit. You know, this is just... We just have to accept the glitchiness as part of the overall aesthetic at this point. It's just... For as long as I'm in this particular expansion, I don't think we can trust this game to fully run. Oh, this is what you meant by thingies. Okay, please drop my weapon. I think I've pointed this out before anyway, but it is... I do find it interesting that, like, this particular part of the game was so heavily, this was such a unique, interesting, strange moment in the base game. So the fact that it now has become, like, the go-to thing to include in other parts of the game is, like, it's a little strange to me. It retroactively reduces the uniqueness of the plant part, which... I could be wrong, because I haven't completion to the map or anything, but it do feel like it didn't come up anywhere else, except for exactly where it was used in that one part, as a cool, weird surprise. Another weird crown thing for me to probably sell instead of wear. Hear people tear their hair out a little bit with my choices. Rude. Serpentine! 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 Ah! There's enemies nearby. Where? I don't believe you. Let me fill my horny computer with my seed. Please? It is so annoying whenever the game's like, there's enemies somewhere. Cool. Where? You know, like, somewhere. Probably. Cool. Where? There's enemies, you know, like as a concept, they exist. Watch your back, you never know where they're gonna come from. Cool. Where?
You got some plans for me, don't you? Yeah, I can smell it all over you.
You can still smell my seed? I thought I took a shower. Tell me again what you do.
It's the miracle of life, baby. You bring me some succulent genetic samples, and I'll work my mojo on them. Clone you up all kinds of plants. Oh, yeah. I can also break them down for you, if you're into the kinky stuff. Bring me any old plant parts, and I'll grind them up into salient cream for you. Yeah, you like that, don't you, baby?
I command you to open your port and receive my seed.
Ah, yeah, baby. Just slip it in there, all the way down in that dark, moist earth. Launching interface.
Do. Yes, process seed. Just take all of them. There we go. Joke's on you, game. I'm into the gay robot stuff. Let's do it. Holy shit, how many did I have? Did I finish the whole collection or something? And the samples to the sink. I did, right?
Well, hello.
What seed? Where is it currently saying to go? The jukebox? What?
What's the haps?
Do you play music?
Used to. Long time ago. Then old Doc Moore ripped out my music drives and stuck in more acoustical processors. Guess you could say I got the blues, even if I can't play them no more.
Got a Soundwave file for you.
Right on, Daddy-o. Just plug it in and I'll mix you up a sweet, sweet sound. Catch you later, Gator.
Is everyone happy now? Return the samples to the sink. What sink? I mean, what's that? This sink?
Well, hello there.
Ah.
Can I get you a drink?
Our audio's bugged out. Oh. Talking to her did finish the quest. What the fuck? Okay. Now we're down to just that. Or grinding X13, which is kind of awful, so probably not. Oh, yeah, we need to deal with these two. See if I can figure out these people's deals. Oops. That's the one. Dr. Klein awaits. Make sure you're prepared to finish this once and for all. Maybe I can't talk to them again. Well, hi.
You should really see, Dr. Klein. We're all awaiting the results of your experiment.
You seem to be looking at me a lot.
Your primitive eyes deceive you. No, there are no needs contained within my soft gel. Much like the soft gel of your eyes. No, nothing here.
Yeah, I don't know what to do with her. Maybe it's because I can't succeed at this check that requires a lot of perception. And I don't think drugs are going to triple my perception score.
Until our...
But oh.
Klein's an impatient man. Wouldn't keep him waiting.
I need more of those worthless caps to test the CIU barter function upstairs.
I'd have a few left. Let me check. Yeah, there were a few under the monitors here. Here you go. Keeps the place tidy.
Do you have another name?
Yeah, I do. It wasn't always O. I just took that one by default because sometimes it's easier to accept a mistake as long as the purpose works. I don't want to get into it. It's a sore topic with me. Makes my gel ripple.
Woo! I think these are the quests, are these skills that I can't do.
Until our next scheduled audio transmission and reception, then.
I think if you just have really specific skills, you can like go through therapy with them a little bit. Otherwise, I think those are kind of dead ends. Could be wrong. But there's no other indication of what to do with them, and I'm not going to keep guessing.
The lobotomite returns. Our lobotomite. Has Dr. Mobius been denominated into scrap metal and voice module parts, as we hoped?
I found my brain. Now you and I are gonna settle things.
I recommend watching your tone with me, lobotomite. Now, your brain. Hand it over, or we'll extract it again.
I'm not handing my brain over. There's some things we should discuss.
And what could we possibly have to speak about? You have the brain, we have the technology. All you must do is surrender. With it, we can finally leave this place. I cannot tell you how boring this place gets, chopping up the landscape and everything in it. And we have so many questions to ask your brain first. About this Mojave place. A fertile testing ground for our experiments.
Mobius and I, we formed an alliance. Sort of.
Mobius does not form alliances. He was a terrible lab partner, and he would make a worse ally.
Do you think I killed Mobius?
Yes! Wait, you did, didn't you? You are lying. No, you are not. Your heartbeat, perspiration, all excessively confident and sure of yourself. Why would you reason with that maniac? He'll destroy us all!
Maybe you should confer with your colleagues first.
Nonsense! Confer, colleagues? Those are two words I do not recognize.
Dr. Klein, please. Let's see what its insides look like. Finally.
Klein, are you sure we've calculated all the combat probabilities here? I mean, the lobotomite confronted Mobius. Plus, you know, we haven't had a COMBAT drill in forever. I don't think we could form a tactical attack triangle if we wanted to.
Releasing the WOMBAT was not my plan, so get off my voice box.
Silencing opinionators.
I, for one, cannot bear to let this continue. I don't see what is to be gained by throwing another body into our labs, especially one that has done us a service, gone where we feared to go. This lobotomite doesn't deserve our knives. It deserves our respect. We should care for it, feed it, nurture it, give it the life Gabe never had.
Why am I even listening to you fools? The Determinators are greater than the Hesitators, so Hesitators, be quiet. We are bigger, smarter, and floatier than you, lobotomites. We don't wish to fight you, so surrender your brain, now.
Only one of them doesn't want to kill me, maybe. Well, there's one that's afraid of fighting me, I think. And there's one that wants me to be their new dog. It's a little upsetting. The one that wanted to watch me sleep and was horny about me just wants to see my insides now. So I don't think that relationship's going to go very well. You may have noticed the pacification field is down. Guess what happens now?
Fight? I've never been in a fight. What do I... Colleagues! Think tank! Alert! Alert! We are under attack!
Front row. You get to go first. And you get to go next. I believe I'm dead or dying. No, wait, I'm dead. Nerds!
The audience gasps in terror.
Well, that's awkward. I didn't want to kill them, but they're too stupid to not kill, in that it seemingly is impossible to continue without... Ooh, permanent sneak +3. It's seemingly impossible to continue the story without killing them if you haven't been able to convince them in other ways. Non-violence is just not seen as one of the default possibilities, apparently. They, like, don't even consider the idea. Can't feel that bad for them. Even the ones that seemingly didn't want to fight still did. So it's like, well, you guys all worked as one group. You could have chosen not to fight. But then they would have had to account for the... they have a meeting people book. They would have had to account for outcomes where any particular combination of them chose not to fight. And any number of them could be alive in any number of combinations. Which would probably be hard. So in these kinds of situations, it usually just becomes team fights you or team does not fight you. The end. Every single one of them died in one hit. They're just a bunch of nerds. This is the ultimate payoff of the entire creation of this character as being a dumb, just being like a jock with a stick, and then all the fucking nerds show up and they're like trying to control you with their superior intellect, and I'm like, I still have a giant stick. Anyway, done with you guys. Let's go back to the sink.
As it had been in the years before the Great War, Big Mountain, the Big Empty, became home to one of the brightest minds of the 23rd century. The courier watched over the Big Empty for years to come, caring for it and keeping its discoveries safe until they were needed to help others. Which had always been Big Mountain's purpose. Past the laboratories and science, it had always been intended as a place to build the future of all mankind.
The courier had scoured much of the Big Empty, although secrets still remained in the crater's depths. Perhaps that was for the best, however. Curiosity, while sometimes rewarded for its efforts, often proves to be equally dangerous.
Dr. Mobius continued his research undisturbed in the Forbidden Zone. As much as he had attempted to create better scorpions, he tried the same with humanity, with considerably less success. These failures didn't bother him over much. Once the rush of mentats wore off, he forgot he had failed in any event. After all, the bright young mind who had come to visit him in the Forbidden Zone had already exceeded his expectations.
The sink atop the dome bustled with the voices of a small town, constantly chirping, arguing, and snarling at each other. Still, this all happened productively in the interests of its new owner. The Sync Central Intelligence Unit discovered, despite its inversion code, it was comforted by the sense of community the other personalities gave it.
The Biological Research Station, obsessed with seeding everything in sight, requested a transfer to the X-22 Botanical Garden, so that it might, in its own words, sensually fertilize the garden's smooth contours. The garden sent back a polite refusal, saying it had prior commitments with a vault it had helped infect before the war.
The book chute continued to devour all seditious materials until it nearly choked on a paperclip. It adamantly maintained it was a Chinese paperclip, and the whole thing had been an elaborately orchestrated assassination attempt. Whatever the reason, it slowed down for a while, carefully appraising each document and clipboard that came to it.
The light switches continued to bicker and flicker.
This persisted until the day someone dropped a flashlight in the sink, and the two of them united in their hatred of the showboat.
The sink continued to ruthlessly scrub any particulate matter that came near it. Eventually, it gained access to the magneto-hydraulics plant and nearly flooded all the Big Empty in an attempt to scrub the crater clean.
The toaster continued its psychotic spree, reducing all appliances in range to scrap electronics and spare parts. After one of its more psychotic episodes, however, the other Sync personalities decided enough was enough and dumped the toaster in a bathtub. Sparking and hissing, the toaster swore its enemies would rue the day when they had bread and no way to toast it.
Muggy did his best to collect coffee cups, although in his quest, he accidentally trapped himself in Higgs Village. It might have been the end for poor Muggy. Except, he found it peaceful there, tidying up the kitchens of the think tank professors back when they had been flesh and bone. Well, except for Dr. O, who was an asshole for having created Muggy in the first place. Muggy left O's house deliberately dirty, punishing the dishes and cups that lived there in blind revenge for serving Dr. O.
Blind old Jefferson, with sounds the courier brought him, created a symphonic counter-frequency that saved Big Mountain from sonic invasion in 2910. If you didn't hear about it, good. It was rumored by the other personalities that he had a brief fling with the light switches. Although he forgot their names once too often and was soon left in the dark as punishment.
Autodoc, always gentle and methodical, kept sewing up the courier in all the right places when the skin split open from repeated wear and tear. The Autodoc was just glad to have purpose again. It heard its simpler brothers and sisters who got shipped to the Sierra Madre were bored out of their skulls in that toxic dead city. In time, the Autodoc found a way to deactivate the Y-17 trauma harnesses, releasing the corpses they had held prisoner for almost 200 years.
As the courier ran through the X-8 facility multiple times, the computers analyzed the test subject's movements. Rather than performing a superficial observation, they realized the subject barely knew what communism was, or even what a high school was. This confused them for a time, until the facility finally realized that its research had succeeded. So it let its cyber dogs out into the wastes to help protect small communities from physical aggression rather than communist propaganda.
The infiltration program in X-13 continued to scan for the subject and the stealth suit prototype long after the test was over. Frustrated and unable to find its lost technology, X-13 expanded its network of laser tripwires, sensors, and robo-brains out across Big Mountain. This glittering blue light beam forest cleanly bisected anything that entered its depths, slicing them into small segmented parts for easy disposal.
The courier, organs intact, continued onwards, a little less heavy of step, but with all the organs in the right places, as they should be. After all, brains can develop a life of their own when left to their own thoughts, and the courier's brain was more clever than most.
The think tank basement, filled with the lobotomized robotical frames of the doctors, now served as a graveyard. The monitors had recorded the battle in its entirety, including the think tank's final, shrill, terrified screams, whimpers, and pleas for mercy. They broadcast these humiliating last moments as a warning to anyone approaching the perimeter that other smarty pants were not welcome. The courier was the inheritor of the Big Empty, and there was room for only one will in the halls of the think tank dome.
There is an expression in the wasteland, old world blues.
It refers to those so obsessed with the past they can't see the present, much less the future, for what it is.
They stare into the what was, eyes like pilot lights, guttering and spent, as the realities of their world continue on around them.
Science is a long, steady progression into the future. What may seem a sudden event often isn't felt for years, even centuries to come.
In the times following the Second Battle of Hoover Dam, however, old world blues took on a new meaning.
Where once it was viewed as a form of sadness, nostalgia, it became an expression describing the potential for the future.
It can be easy to see science as evil, technology unchecked as the source of all ills, all misfortunes.
With the courier at the helm, science became a beacon for the future. There was old world blues, and new world hope. And hope ruled the day at Big Mountain.
We could say more, but the stories in the Big Empty speak for themselves. Now armed with the transportal ponder, the courier could return to the dome at any time and crack open the secrets of the Big Empty one by one. The sink sat vigilant, waiting for its master to return, shoes covered in Mojave dust. Only one road yet remained, and it was one the courier had to walk alone.
You've lost the brainless perk, so I guess I've got my brain again. Gain the big-brained perk. Your brain is back in your body, but some of the advanced technologies remain. Your head still cannot be crippled, but you are only 10% more resistant to addiction now. Surprisingly, your damage threshold has improved by 10%. You've acquired the Big Mountain Transportal Ponder. It's capable of transporting you between Mojave Wasteland and Big MT. You return to the Mojave, or back to the MT from the Mojave. Simply equip the Transportal Ponder, and as you would any weapon, pull the trigger, and there you'll go. Note that it won't work in interiors or in combat situation. It is totally incapable of harming your enemies. I'm about to level again, aren't I? Everyone's yelling at me, help! Oh god. I was not prepared for the game to... for the ending credits outro thing to be like 10 minutes of exposition from like 20 characters, including every appliance in this room, getting an ending? Oh my god. It started to get kind of terrifying. Some of these people are like scary, like the doctor I let live. It's like, oh god, he is still experimenting on people when they encounter the right. He's too dumb to learn from his mistakes or from his failures or successes or anything. And like, poor guy it seemed mean to kill him, but also like he is dangerous if I don't stop him on some level, and I didn't. And like some of the people that I work for are terrifying, but other ones are cool. Like the auto doc fixed the vests or the trauma suits, and so all those people are now back in. Oh, those corpses are no longer being controlled anymore. Let's try to make this fast-ish, because this takes forever. I really wish you could get arrow key from the bottom. Probably just gonna pick the first one that sounds good, because this takes a while. Oopsie. Reset, there we go. Spray and pray. This is new? Anytime you sleep, you remove all of your rads in addition to regaining all of your health. In hardcore mode, you still don't regain health, but you do lose 100 rads. Anytime you sleep? What? I don't usually need anything. I usually don't need rad away that much to begin with, but the idea that sleeping just resets your radiation is kind of insane in a game where the radiation is supposed to be kind of a threat. Huh. You know, it's coming up enough that I feel like I probably want to get the adamantium skeleton. Let's do that one. Well, the best ones are mostly crabbed, I think, at this point, so now it's just, which one sounds good? And my limbs break enough for that to be a problem. God, they're just collectively all screaming all the time. So, it's a very homoerotic pack of robots, where you've got the very horny seed receptacle, and then every time you suffer any damage, you come here to the very gentle doctor. Am I already holding it? Oh, won't work. Won't work when you're indoors. Zzzp. We did it! We beat another DLC, whether we wanted to or not. That we're done to the last one, right? Should be the earliest quest I've ever had. Reunion, I think. Travel to the canyon wreckage near Prim to enter the divide. That's probably it, because I believe all of the DLC quests are given to me first, so they're my oldest quests that I can go back to dealing with what we were up to before then. That'll be interesting. Get my weapon back out. There we go. And I'll just have to go sell some of the other stuff that I picked up since. All right. Whew. That one was both. That one was paced strangely, is the way I would put it. I think the first DLC was a bit longer than expected because it was structured into 3 separate chapters where you had to deal with all 3 of the NPCs separately. So it stretched on for a while. That's for like longer than the complexity of the narrative actually seemed to demand. The previous DLC we did with the tribes seemed shockingly short for how much it seemed to set up. And this one in particular, it front loads so much conversation with all of those different characters at the main base. But then once you have all those conversations, you basically don't need to talk to any of those people again until it's time to finish the entire DLC. At which point, you either get the ending I did, where they won't let you go and you kill them all, or you find some other solution where they do let you go, I guess, probably. But for as involved as they were and how they all had their own personalities, that didn't come up much beyond visiting the guy's weird dog and going to that guy's weird school simulation. Most of the rest of it didn't really apply that much. So it's just kind of this continued realization that everyone in this entire society has just kind of lost their mind and dealing with that. But not necessarily having the characters be super involved themselves. I don't know. It was interesting. You could definitely methodically scrape the entire map, and that's definitely how some people play Fallout. But if I make this playthrough, if I play this playthrough in that style where I'm just scraping every pixel of the map for the sake of it and not going where quests take me, it will double in length, and that will mostly not be worth it. I might find your favorite moment, but I'll also spend time looking at 100 other things that aren't your favorite moment. This guy's just still here. Are you ever gonna move on?
What is it this time?
Hey, boxcars. Take care of that slave caravan.
You know what I'd be real excited about? If you'd showed up and saved me before they smashed my legs. Now, why don't you fuck off and let me sleep, hero? That'll be real exciting too.
Huh. Okay.
Later.
Yeah, Boxcars is a weird character. I think you're supposed to... Oop. Salesman Weekly. I think you're supposed to just forget about him and never come back and never think about it again, but every now and then I remember he's still here. And I just want I want him to move on. Like, eventually heal and go somewhere. Like, I gave him meds. You think he'd show up in one of the towns, like the dinosaur one, and be hanging out there. But nope. Similarly, all these bodies are just like this forever. Like, this is supposed to kill people eventually, but they didn't script the game to actually kill them after like a day or two. Or after the scene plays out. So they're just permanently here. There's just certain elements about the living world where you kind of expect the things to proceed a little bit, and they kind of don't. Like the fact that this is a permanently burning place full of still tortured live people when I've been playing this game for dozens of hours now. It's just a bit of a... Like, at some point, I'm the asshole for not getting these guys down, right? To remove them from the cross would kill them. And not that near death. They've been here for so long. Like, I think this is based on some real stuff, and there would be real consequences, but at this point, the fact that they're still alive means I'm pretty sure they could survive coming down from the cross. So, I just... It starts to feel like I'm in the wrong at some point, like... Nipton's a weird town. It's weird. I think it's because almost every location in these 3D Fallout games reacts to your gameplay in some way. Like, they're basically just living towns. And then over the course of a quest, you either wipe out those towns, or you help those towns, or you change things a little bit, and some of the people in the town like you more or like you less, but there isn't usually like a set-piece town where you walk in and it's been destroyed, and then you keep going in and it's in that state forever, even though the whole game's story has been progressing and you've been traveling in and out of the state and so on. So it's just a weird location where it feels like the game is designed for you to just never walk into this area again. And they just don't expect you to look at it ever again to notice that it's still like this. Which itself is its own kind of weird, because if you're not using... If you have teleportation turned off because you're in a mode where you, If you have teleportation turned off because you're in a mode where you, have to walk everywhere, you're in like hardcore mode or something, probably will have to walk through here again, and at some point you're like, hang on a minute. But I get it, this game was made shockingly fast for what it was. And I'm just podcasting about things a bit. That's enough time. Next episode we'll start the next DLC. The last one.